some cooler air and a stiff breeze moving into Central Florida. That must mean one thing, it's fall, and it's the second season, Fred Lopez. We're excited about this playoff, this regional quarterfinal here at Bryant Stadium against a familiar opponent, Wiregrass Ranch. The Bulls come in for the fourth time. This is the fourth time we played them. They're trying to make something happen. Dreadnaughts are going to have something to say about it.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think we're maintaining and they're building. I think that's kind of what we're fighting for tonight.
That's
We've got 33 years in the playoffs, 27 straight years.
Wow.
Coach Cantor is wanting and trying to be Coach Castle.
Yeah, that's a tough, tall order, but we do have some weather moving to our north. Not sure if we're going to get hit with a little bit of rain, but the cool air is filtering in here. We got a breeze up in the press box. Feels like fall for the first time. There's been a long summer, that's for sure. But now in this second season, we always call it, how excited we are. A lot of anticipation. We were just looking at the brackets, Fred Lopez. A lot of people sizing up 2 or 3, 4 teams, but the playoffs are, you got 5 potential games or 1 and you're done.
That's right.
So, you got to have your wits about you. You got to be focused. Coach Castle is the king of getting his teams ready, as you know, and focused no matter what the opponent is.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So tonight we play the Bulls. We're 10-0. They're 7-3. The matchup on paper is pretty close.
That's what you said, yeah.
So both teams are averaging 400 yards per game. Both teams have a little over 4,000 yards in all-purpose yards. We have 51 touchdowns for the season. They've got 46. We've scored 445 points. We've given up 56, and I think this is the key difference, Dreadnought fans. They've got 332 points for the season, and they've given up 175 points on defense. The quarterback battle is going to be between Shale Garnett and Rocco Beck. The Bulls have a balanced attack. They've thrown for 1,700 yards. They've rushed for 1,600 yards. We're predominantly a running game offense, but we do have the ability to throw. I think but we've got a running back in our corner that has scored 62 touchdowns. He is second on the all-time list. He's only 11 away from beating Chris Rainey's rushing record on the ground.
You mentioned 175 points against Wiregrass and only 56 against the Dreadnaughts. So the defense playing a huge part this year. We look back and those last few games, hardly anyone scoring any points against this big D.
Absolutely, and the couple of the Wiregrass, the Bulls have 3 losses, and I paid attention to those losses.
Talk about with us.
So
they got whooped a little bit.
Their 3 losses. The first one was to Armwood. They lost 48-3. The second one was to Tampa Bay Tech. They lost 48-16, and the final loss was a close one, 17-16 against Largo. I pay attention to those losses. That's a big deal.
Yeah, and Armwood, one of those teams that everyone's kind of looking at the bracket. That could be an extremely fun game. Again, both teams have to do a little bit of work to get there. But when you see those teams kind of converge, you're talking about in the different divisions, the Nicevilles, the Edgewaters, and the Armwoods, and Lakeland, of course, in our regional area. And then, of course, you got St. Thomas, who's going to probably clean up that side of the bracket pretty well. So a lot of anticipation, but Armwood certainly can put some points on the board, as this team can tonight. But that defense just stands out as just that extra secret weapon that's just going to be tough for them to score.
I think the key tonight is really going to be, I think you're going to see both offenses attempt to continue to put up the numbers, but I think the key difference tonight is going to be Lakeland's stout defense, and I think that'll be enough. And if we can break their spirit early, I think offense will gain the momentum. We don't have the wet weather that we had, where quarterback is going to have to get up under the center like last week, 2 weeks ago.
Unbelievable.
I think we're going to see a much more wider Dreadnought offense tonight.
Yeah. So Fred just mentioned 2 weeks ago. It's hard to believe it was 2 weeks against Kathleen.
That's right. We got the bye.
Just a crazy weather night, and as you all remember, the first play of the game, well, people were like, wait a minute, what's happening here? We were down in our own north end zone, fumbled the ball with those wet conditions into the end zone. The Red Devils
I had a little fun with Coach on that one.
So, scored some points right off the bat. They were ahead of Lakeland for a few minutes there, and we kind of knew what was coming, but still an interesting start, and again with that crazy weather pattern. But, of course, Dreadnaughts sailed through the rest of that game, and was kind of forfeited at half because of both weather and just Kathleen saying we had enough of the Knots tonight. So that's how we got here, 10-0, as Fred mentioned, 7-3 on their side with Wiregrass. They did get whipped a couple times. Had this last close last close regular season game that they lost 17-16. But they're coming in with just a super tall task. They see poor kids, man. They see Lakeland on but having to come to it's an experience for them too, and something they can build on potentially.
Well, I will say this: Coach Cantor, he's in his 3rd year. This is their 4th straight playoff appearance. This is our 4th straight meeting with them in the playoffs, either in the first round or the second round. They're building a program. We've got a program. We're trying to maintain our program. We're seeking back-to-back crowns. We got a lot to maintain. We got a lot to play for. Yep. The tradition continues. Got to give Wiregrass a lot of credit. It takes a lot of guts. It takes a lot of effort. It takes a lot of work to make it to the playoffs. So they're building a program, and I'll guarantee you, if Coach Castle was here standing between us right now, he'd say, "Don't you dare underestimate that team. They are capable of beating us on any given night."
Well, we're fortunate to have Mary's down with the headset on, running things tonight for us. Michael's out for a little bit for the week, taking a little respite, and Mary's doing a fine job. But we'd also like to mention that Jeff and Marilyn Klein are the webcast sponsors tonight, a beloved family by the Dreadnaughts.
They're what I would refer to as the Supernaut family.
Yeah, like you look under
multi-generations of football.
In the definition under Dreadnaughts and the super fan, the Klein family is right there at the top. And so
Supernauts.
We're going to get a chance to talk to Jeff at halftime a little bit and just get some of that family history and all that they've meant to the program and what they continue to enjoy as Super Dreadnaught sponsors and what that means to them. So that's going to be exciting to hear from Jeff at halftime. And again, of course, our Jeff Goddard, not with us tonight. He's been working hard and just taking a little bit of break, but he's supposedly going to be here next week again to catch a couple of the playoff games. We hope, again, this is one of 3. As you mentioned, Fred, if we do get by Wiregrass tonight, we're home again next week. And then we would potentially have an away game against Armwood, and then back for the regional finals here at Bryant Stadium, which could be exciting.
That would be cool.
I think that is kind of the path, but again, got a lot of work to do. Anything else on what's
Dreadnought fans, if you go to the Florida High School Athletic Association and you Google football and you work your way into the brackets and you look up 7A, you're going to notice that there's 4 regions. Lakeland is in the 2nd region. Orlando Edgewater's in Region 1. Palm Beach Lakes is in Region 3. St. Thomas Aquinas is in Region 4. And everybody's saying that between Region 3 and Region 4, St. Thomas is going to ultimately win that battle. We can't underestimate Venice and Palm Beach, but St. Thomas should be the stronger group. In Region 1, top left quadrant, you've got Orlando Edgewater and Niceville. For the most part, they'll probably end up duking it out at some point, and we'll probably end up playing one of those 2 teams in the semis. But we can't underestimate Vieira. We'll have Vieira here at home if we win tonight.
Yep.
And then we'll more than likely, I think, go to Armwood and play Armwood at Armwood. If they win out, we win out.
Because some of how the point systems work, Fred, and we're actually number 2 seed in our bracket, which is a little bit unusual. That's why we would be at Armwood, for those of you that might not know that. But it is, nonetheless, you just got to win the games. Doesn't really matter on the numbers there on the seeding.
We can't underestimate anybody at this point. Anything can happen at any given time in the playoffs. I do want to mention, I'm very proud of our kids. I was talking to Coach Hallier this afternoon, and he said what's special about this Dreadnought team is how they have been able to gel. And I give a lot of credit to the coaching staff. Coach Boldini on the defense, Coach Baylor, just all the coaches, the assistant coaches, Coach Castle, and just gathering a bunch of athletes and then teaching them how to be a locker room family.
Yeah.
And win game by game, play by play. Because a lot of these kids, there's only 8 kids on the team that have been part of the program for 4 years.
Wow. And
only
here
8. Come the Dreadnaughts.
Your Dreadnaughts. Coming out in the black jerseys and the orange pants through the runway of victory tonight.
I thought that was an interesting statistic as far as just, normally you got players that have gelled and have been together, a lot of players for 3-4 years. This is a new group that have been together for just a short while.
Well, that's an interesting point, too, is that what the chemistry word, the C word, has a lot to do with it. You have to, have talented players and well-rounded both on offense and defense. But if you just have no chemistry and a bunch of selfish players, it's just not going to work. A lot of times.
Right.
We've seen some maybe even better teams lose because of that reason. And, we had a little bit of an exchange, obviously, in the middle of our season with our quarterback. So to keep that cohesiveness is really impressive by the coaching staff.
Right. And it hasn't been an incredibly impressive statistical year, which is a typical Coach Castle football team. A lot of people are scoring. A lot of people are running. A lot of people are catching balls. It's an unselfish offense, and it's just a get after it defense.
So the captains have already come on the field, and the coin toss has already happened, and we're right now just going to take a few minutes and to just honor the memory of Cameron. Cameron was on the varsity team, and he was a wrestler, and you He graduated in 2018. So just a little of remembrance of Cameron. They're going to be wearing his number on their helmets with a little sticker tonight. So we're just taking a brief moment to just remember Cameron up on the Jumbotron. That's what the players are doing right now.
Thank you.
So we're about to get this thing underway here with, again, a stiff breeze coming in right into the press box from Lake Parker. And as you know, and highly anticipated if you're a fan of fall, is we got a couple of cool fronts moving through over the next few days. One this weekend and a stronger one backing it up on Tuesday night or Wednesday. And it will certainly feel full, in effect, fall in just a few days. And much more comfortable tonight. Hopefully the rain will stay away.
Hopefully the rain does.
Dreadnaughts fine-tuned machine right now. As Fred mentioned, they've really got things clicking on both sides of the ball. It's going to be a tough task for the Bulls tonight. Again at 7-3 coming in here for the regional quarterfinal at Bryant Stadium, Bill Castle Field. Coach Castle's 44th year coaching the Dreadnaughts. As many of you know, the beloved head ball coach here at Lakeland is not a newbie to the playoffs. Most people, Fred, never coached as many seasons as he's been in the playoffs for sure.
Unbelievable. 27 straight playoff appearances. Actually, this is 28.
So we're about to get things underway. Foot to leather, nice high kick, deep. And so Paul Howyer and I were talking on the way up, and he turned around and said, "Tim, turn around and look at this kid." And I was like, who am I looking at? He said, "Look at this kicker for Wiregrass." He said, he's about to kick a 60-yard field goal. And now I know it's, with a tee and on the turf, but he's got leg. Big leg, yeah.
Whether you're kicking off of a tee or not, if you can kick 60 yards, you've got a leg.
And not necessarily when aided, it's coming across, but he just showed it to you there a little bit as he easily kicked through the back of the end zone to give the Dreadnaughts field position, starting at the 20-yard line, and we're about underway as we have the quarterback under center for the first play of this FHSAA regional quarterfinal. Nice handoff left side. Reggie Kellum gets the call. And Reggie breaks a tackle. Reggie's ahead with blockers at the 40. Reggie way out in front at the 20-yard line. Down to the 10. Reggie Kellum, first play, touchdown.
That was a speed sweep, and the blocking was just perfect. And that's about all I can say.
He had all the host.
It was a speed sweep. The receivers did a heck of a job stock blocking. The tailback broke a tackle, and he had nothing but grass.
And Reggie Kellum, a very talented running back. Yes, we did not call Bowman, but as you know, we don't lose much with Reggie Kellum coming into the ball game, number 21. He's an 11th grader, so Reggie could be back as number 19 rushes on for the extra point. That's fantastic news when you see stuff like that, as many of our skill players will be leaving next year, and both on defense and offense. He's one that's hanging around. And
we've only got one underclassman on the offense. I'm excited to hear that this young man is coming back. That's great.
Number 83, Matthew Word, set to kick the extra point, and Matthew kicks it right through the uprights. And I have to mention this because it's just truly impressive to me. So last week, me and my family went to go see Oklahoma, which was the presentation by Harrison School of Arts performance. And guess who was the lead role in Oklahoma for the male? It was Matthew Word. And I tell you what, that is one talented young man. He can sing fantastic.
Wow.
He can act super well. I mean, he did a professional job. You wouldn't know the difference much from him in a Broadway or off-Broadway performance. And here he's out. He rustles his hair up a little bit and kicks for the Dreadnaughts. So we got a lot of talented people on and off the field, as we mentioned, and Matthew Ward is just one of those people.
So, Tim, what just happened is the Bulls' Achilles heel. You can't give up points in big games.
Early.
You cannot give up big points in big plays, points in big games. This is their Achilles heel.
Yeah.
As I was paying attention to their impressive stats, the one stat that did not impress me was they give up points on defense.
Okay. And there you go. So the first play of the game, flipped it from last week. Last week, the first play was a fumble into the end zone, and Kathleen recovered. This time, the Knots do not repeat, which is great. Matthew kicks kind of a sky ball. It's going to land about the 15, but takes a bounce to the 10, and the Dreadnought special teams is going to nail him at the 5. He just had nowhere to go. Bit of a mistake maybe there, picking that ball up, Fred, and then running backwards.
Well, that was not intended to be a sky kick.
No.
But it ended up becoming a sky kick.
Yeah. And it actually was so high and shallow that the intended normal receiver just had to let it kind of bounce. Couldn't get it.
In tennis, we call that no man's land.
Yeah, it was for sure.
You can't. You're in between a volley and a baseline shot.
Yeah, see that a lot in baseball too. Just when it's hit between the infield and outfield, just sometimes it works out well, and
he did work out well for Matthew. He didn't time it right. That's right.
7-0 your score.
And when you see all those jerseys coming after you, you hesitate.
That's tough. Especially at Bryant Stadium here. Up early, the Dreadnaughts on the first play of offense. Now the defense goes to work here at the 5-yard line. Wiregrass comes under center in a shotgun formation. 3 yards deep is their quarterback, number 3, Rocco Becht. Rocco calls for the ball and fumbles the ball deep, and the ball is still on the turf, and a scrum pile ensues at about the 2-yard line. And oh my, the Dreadnaughts recovered deep. Oh boy.
Well, stout defense, turnovers, scoring. This is what Lakeland does. This is what makes them so feared. As if you are an opponent, especially coming to Bryant Stadium, this is a dangerous place to come. Lakeland has a phenomenal playoff track record, Tim.
And unfortunately, you can talk all you want, Fred, about the, intimidation factor for Lakeland, and you can slough that off and say, oh, we're fine, we're not going to be intimidated, we're going to come in there and do our thing. But when you show up, when you see the environment, when you cross the line from the guys in black and orange, something just changes. it just is difficult. And now, again, on offense, second play, right side handoff, off tackle, and goes for a few yards. Jakari Martin in there, as Coach Cass is going to talk to the quarterback. Garnett on a 2nd down and goal at the 3 after the turnover by Wiregrass.
And it's tough. Now their defense is on their heels. And any time that you're playing defense in your own red zone, that's just really hard.
Bowman and Martin in, of course, with that hammer strong formation as we get close inside the 5 usually. Nice handoff. Easy touchdown for DeMarcus Bowman. Chalk one up for Debo again. So
that's DeMarcus, and that is touchdown number 63.
3 plays, 13 points so far we've run on offense. Scored twice. Not bad.
My goodness.
And that is not the start you were hoping for if you're a Bull.
Well, tonight with the weather being as nice as it is, it's a perfect football night. And with no rain, no issues that are going to affect your offense, coach can turn the ponies loose.
So I don't know if Matthew was trying to make a correction there. He's been skying the ball. He definitely did not sky that one. That one barely cleared the crossbar.
He's got to get underneath it.
But it worked. It was through 2 plays, covering 2 yards, 14-0 with the DeMarcus Bowman score. We're going to take a brief timeout and be right back with here at Bryant Stadium with the FHSA quarterfinal game. We'll be right back.
Wow. It's impressive. I can honestly tell you I didn't.
At the Spine Institute of Central Florida, we view surgery as a last resort. When needed, we employ the least invasive state-of-the-art spine surgical techniques to fix the problem at the source. Our highly trained experts provide the entire spectrum of non-surgical and surgical spine care all under one roof. Our unique approach ensures that you get the best results possible, maximize your recovery, and get back to what you love. Spine Institute of Central Florida. Trust nothing but the very best for your spine care.
Just kicked off. Matthew Word, a short kick again at the 20-yard line. I'm not sure if that was a fair catch or what happened there. Couldn't tell. Big number 44 just kind of caught it and shuffled out of bounds, kind of. Dreadnaughts still were unsure, so they tapped them at least just to make sure. So back, one of our new sponsors is we had the interview Dr. Okafor with the Spine Institute of Central Florida. Thank you to them again for being a Dreadnought sponsor here coming on late in the season. So we'd like to give them a little play. They help us be able to bring you these broadcasts, obviously. So
we are grateful for our sponsors. It's very important that people in the community and former Dreadnaughts come back to support their program, support their alma mater. Very important.
As Jeff and Marilyn Klein step up again and become the webcast sponsor tonight. That's just so kind and giving of them. And again, we'll be speaking with Jeff at halftime as the Wiregrass Bulls now desperately wanting to get something happen on offense. First play goes nowhere, back, a loss of a few yards. Runs right into the stacked defense in the middle and just gets driven back.
Two of their top running backs are responsible for 16 touchdowns and most of the yardage. They've got 6 different backs that have rushed for over 100 yards, Tim.
When you said that
we'll
earlier,
see if they can get anything going against this Dreadnought stout
that is
defense.
Super unusual to have that many backs over 100 yards. And again, you don't know if a lot of teams see something, but we've seen a lot of teams try to spread the Dreadnought defense out and just take away some of that aggressiveness and the speed. Unsuccessfully, though, as again, number 3 steps up for Wiregrass in the shotgun, 2nd down and 10, and the refs are going to call below a whistle with a flag. I think it's going to be delay a game.
So Dreadnought fans, keep an eye on number 7, Keith Walker, for the Bulls. He's got 41 receptions for 744 yards and 11 touchdowns on the season. So number 7 is the playmaker for their team.
Number 7 on this near side, on the Dreadnought sideline, and there's no player on him right now. Finally, the linebacker, number 4, Hall, kind of comes up and matches up with him. Becht. Now they send number 7 in motion across the near side. They look to that left side and fire. Picked off by number 7. The Dreadnoughts stepped in front of it. Sean Smith takes it to the house. Touchdown, Dreadnoughts. Are you kidding me?
I can't believe it.
Are you kidding me? What up, Knox?
I said stout defense was going to be the key factor in this game, but I didn't say stout touchdowns.
Woo, super sport. SS Sean Smith steps right in front of that ball.
They have to be shell-shocked at this point. There's just no way you can't be. I think Lakeland is surprised.
Yeah.
I mean, they're just in the right place
just going
and they're motivated.
Yeah,
everything's working right.
Everything's clicking right now.
It's like a perfect game of golf at this point.
birdie, birdie, birdie right now.
Every shot feels like a good, crisp, pure shot.
Except for the fact that we don't have all our special teams in there. Probably so stupefied that we've just scored again. He's like, wait a minute, wasn't I just here?
That's right.
This doesn't feel right.
Special teams guys are on the bench. They forget.
Matthew Word set for his 3rd extra point try. This one looks darn good. That's perfect. Nice getting under the ball. 21-0. We'll keep it right here because we'll be heading to commercial for every 10 seconds at this rate. But we'll go ahead and talk a little bit about the start that the Dreadnaughts are having. Couldn't ask for anything better. 9:40. Look at that. 9:40. Sean Smith, as you can see right there, gets the turnover hardware. And we didn't see a replay on that, but I think he almost one-handed that thing, almost just picked it off, stepped right in front. And I wasn't sure where the intended receiver was. It looked like he threw it right to Sean.
Sean Smith was our middle linebacker, was right in perfect position, and it looked like he was trying to throw a slant across the middle.
That's what I thought. That's the only player I saw.
And he just threw it right into the hands of Sean. And you know, when you're in your end zone and you've got the pressure and you got guys rushing you, it's a blur. It really is. Unless and he doesn't seem like he's a real tall quarterback, so you know it's just tough. That's a tough situation for him, and that was a big play by Sean Smith.
Well, Rocco Becht is a 10th grader. He's a sophomore, 5'10", a sophomore. So, you know, coming into Bryant Stadium on the
and remember what I said about our defense. All those guys look like they're 6'2", 6'3". So you're throwing over a big, tall defensive line and linebackers.
Their speedster, number 7, got that ball and was hit immediately. Keith Walker got drugged down right around the 9 or 10 yard line. So virtually
Tim,
no yards.
At this point, unfortunately, if you're Wiregrass, their game plan is shot. So they have to go. They're going into emergency mode, and when you go into emergency mode against the reigning state champions, that basically have the level of talent that they got right now, they've got no plan at this point. Mm-hmm. I would be highly surprised if they can get any momentum at this point. They're shell shocked.
So I said throw everything out the window. Just try. I mean, again, you have nothing to lose, so maybe try some interesting plays, some risky plays just to catch the Dreadnaughts sleeping. But that's going to be difficult. They're just fine-tuned right now. Up 21-0 with 9:33 remaining. Inside handoff, a little bit of a play on misdirection as the quarterback just kind of shows it high like he's going to pitch it out to Walker and then comes back inside with it. Not fooled, though.
No. I will tell you, Coach Baldini, Coach Devine, Coach Johnson, Coach Denson, those guys have done a fantastic job. Assistant coaches getting that defensive ready. Our defensive coordinator. I'll tell you what, I can't say enough about our defense. The past 2 years, even last year, our defense was so stout. They are very, very consistent, playing great football.
One of the best Ds I've ever seen last year towards the end of the season. Not far off this year as well, as the intended runner, one of those 100-yard runners on the season, actually trips over his own offensive lineman and falls after about a 2-yard gain.
The defensive line is holding their ground. The linebackers are running to the football, and the DBs are sticking like glue, and they're hitters, and they're tall and athletic. I mean, it's like the perfect storm for Wiregrass right now.
And again, you got some just number 20 checking in the ball game, Dontavian Smith, the senior, to join Q Hall and Sean Smith, trying to spread the field again. Let's see if they can come up with something on a 3rd and long, 3rd and 7. Becht rolls out. Left side, has no time, but throws the ball beautifully on the sideline, and a nice catch made for a first down. Number 10, Tyler Bruckner, made a nice catch, and that was just a design play for him to roll out and fire it right to the sideline and try to keep away from the defender.
It's a good play. He's not even one of their primary targets.
10 yards and results in a Bulls first down.
So a little bit of something positive. The first time the chains have moved for the Bulls. Still deep in their own territory.
As offensive coordinator, this is just a tough place to be because you're almost going into throw mode, attack mode. You're like in 2-minute offense all the time at this point.
The only way Becht had time was that he did a deep rollout and was able to just set his feet. He hands off to Walker, number 7, who gets around the defensive line but then stopped by the linebackers.
Their only hope right now is to keep the ball into the best players' hands. The talent that got them here is the talent that they've got to invest in. They got to sell out with this group. If they can't get these 3 or 4 guys going, then they can't do it.
Champ Johnson, the Dreadnought that brought Walker down on that play, brings up a 2nd down and 6. About 7 minutes now remaining still in the first quarter. And yes, if you're looking at the screen or you've just joined us, the Dreadnoughts went up fast and furious, 21-0. On, yes, a turnover, but also some fantastic offensive plays. 2 turnovers and 1 long run by Reggie Pelham. Becht trying to answer in some kind of way. He's looking to throw it deep. He has time and nearly picked off. Sean Smith nearly had his 2nd interception. He was there in position.
Tim, I'm watching the defense. The scheme is it's a great scheme. They've got coach is calling great plays on defense, but the boys are just lining up. They're in their spots. They're playing very good, responsible football. I always like to say they're playing perfectly within the framework of the defense.
Maybe number 10, Tyler Bruckner, is their possession receiver. They tried to go back to him, but Sean Smith had fantastic coverage, as Fred mentioned. 3rd down and 6 still on the incompletion. 21-0 your score here in the FHSAA regional quarterfinal, the first playoff game of what we hope is 5. The flags fly, and the refs stop that. The only one that was running was a fly pattern. Number 5 was man-to-man coverage downfield, and Bruckner was going to probably try to get him. Or rather, Breck was going to try to get him.
Penalty is offsides against the Dreadnaughts.
Well, that makes it a little bit more palatable. 3rd down and 1.
And that's a typical penalty in a situation like this. The boys are amped up. They're going to take chances. They're playing confident. And when you're playing confident, you're going to take some of those type of chances and cause some of those penalties.
21-point lead will give you some confidence on defense, that's for sure. 3rd down and 1, but they're still working out of the shotgun. Direct snap.
Little wildcat.
And nice job of the Dreadnoughts sniffing it out, but the forward progress may have them just at the mark. It's going to be close. They have it right on the yard marker. And the chain.
I think they gave it to him.
Yeah, the tip of the ball does look like it's over, and the chain gang will move it down 10 yards. So another first down, fresh set of downs for the Bulls as we have a timeout in here in the middle of the first quarter for the water break. And we will take a brief timeout at the 6:32 mark with the Dreadnaughts leading this game 21-0. We'll be right back.
Agnini Family Dental truly is a family of doctors. We strive to give our patients a patient-first dental experience. Our goal at Agnini Family Dental is to provide our patients with the highest level of comprehensive dental care and prevention. Every member of our team promises to put the needs and concerns of every patient first in every aspect of their dental care. Our family of doctors take a tooth-conservative approach to restorative dentistry with a special focus on sedation dentistry, implant dentistry, and orthodontics. Call to schedule your appointment today and let our family of doctors change the way you look at dentistry.
Welcome back, everybody. After the water break timeout, we're back underway. Breck drops back, getting pressure, and he gets molested back there by 4 or 5 Dreadnaughts. You'd think it would be holding, and the Dreadnaughts just were all over Breck. He's trying to look deep downfield, Fred, to some of these patterns, and that time there was 2 receivers out 20, 30 yards, but just no time to plant his feet.
Tim, 1,700 yards passing. They're no joke. They've got good offense.
Not when you don't have time to throw the ball.
But when you're going up against a championship caliber defense like Lakeland, hey, welcome to the big leagues.
A whole different ball game when you got pressure on you. When you can stop and direct and throw the ball with no pressure, it's a whole different feel. This time, Breck is scrambling just to find a little bit of space where he can work. So a 9-yard loss on that play on first down, back to 2nd and 19. Still in the shotgun. Breck is going to hand off the right side, and number 6 for the Dreadnaughts is going to make the initial hit, Jalen Christian, and then brought by in the late flag coming in.
On the carry.
That might be really a late hit. I don't know if that's going to be a late hit or not.
Flag on the play.
Yep. That's going to be against us, I think.
It is confirmed. Dreadnaughts get the flag on a 15-yard personal foul type late hit.
Well, they got some yards.
They got some. It's the biggest play of the night, as another first down as a result of the personal foul. And they now have the ball at their own 41-yard line, their best field position of this first quarter, coming off the penalty. Dreadnought D, though, holding firm here. Breck calls for the ball, snaps 2 yards, fires it over, caught by the tight end. The big guy, boy, he's a load. It's number 80.
He's a big boy.
He's a big boy, number 82, Gabriel Thompson, 11th grade tight end, 6'3", 190. He looks bigger than that, but
you can tell when Rocco's got some time. You know, his father was a tight end for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Oh, there you go. Well,
so the kid's an athlete.
Yeah, fired the ball.
He's an
over
athlete. There's no doubt about it. He's an athlete. If you give him time, they can light it up.
Well, as a competitor, he's not going to give up, and he's making some things now into Dreadnought territory for the first time tonight. Just inked in at the 44, fires it over on a slant, and behind it, the intended receiver, number 2, Fenley Graham, who we haven't called tonight, on some pretty good coverage, but it was behind Walker a little bit.
That was it. That was a nice slant play for Keith, and you can tell by the way that they ran that play that they've run it before, and I'll bet you they've scored some touchdowns on that play right there.
Well, I think
we were right there and made a nice play.
I think number 7 was disappointed, Walker, who is their speedster, and as you said, is challenging. If he would have got that ball on a full run, there was nobody wide open. Yeah, no one behind him. So that's what he was seeing, and just unable to come up with it. Now on a 3rd and 4, Breck is going to look over to his sideline to the coach, getting some last-minute direction, and still working 3 yards deep. He's going to call for the ball. 5:28, drops back 3 steps, fires it over, and again a little bit of a shoulder-turning pass, we'd call that. You know, the receiver was set one way. He had to turn his body the entire way to try to get it, and just not enough time to.
It looked like Lakeland that time lined up in a man look, and then switched to his own look, and it kind of threw him off right before the play. Mm-hmm. So sometimes waiting for instructions on the sidelines from your coach not only helps your offense, but it can also help your defense adjust too.
So they try to get it to the playmaker, Walker, on that series, and just some poor throws by Brecht, not his best, behind and then over the wrong shoulder on that particular play. And it brings up that 4th and 4, and they will punt for the first time tonight, and it'll give a chance for potentially Finley Graham.
Nice punt.
Oh, that's a nice punt. It's got some spiral on it, and it's going to be caught at the 10, and a beautifully done tackle by the special teams, but somehow number 20 got free, Dontavian Smith, and got about 5 yards on the return. Made something out of nothing, or was that number 23? I'm sorry, that's Kendall Dennis back there. That's always with Finley Graham on the return. At least he fought out of it. That looked like that one special teams guy was going to drive him back inside the 5-yard line, and he was able to get past the 10.
Absolutely. I was surprised he broke the tackle and got what he got. Nice little Chevy GMC commercial.
It is.
Regal Lakeland.
So a full-length field nearly for the Dreadnought offense this time. Back to work on offense. Garnett, inside handoff. Bowman.
Oh, that was a counter.
Oh, my goodness. Donnarumma, I don't even know how to call this one. Just watch. Watch this kid run, folks. Look at that stride. He is out 15 yards in front of everyone. No chance. Touchdown.
Wow.
DeMarcus Bowman. Sometimes there's no words, Fred.
I don't have it. That was a counter underneath play where the guard makes a backside block,
and a beautiful
the quarterback reverse turns out, gives it to the running back underneath, and they didn't know what hit him.
No, that's not even fair.
No.
I mean, DeMarcus hit the 20-yard line, and there was no chance for anyone to get him.
Good job, Coach Harbin.
The Bulls at Pamplona or whatever couldn't run him down. DeMarcus Bowman. He would have got out in front of those Bulls and been gone. These Bulls didn't have a chance.
Coach Harbin saying, "What did I do?"
Yeah, right.
That's DeMarcus.
Goodness me, a little bit of a low snap, but boy, that's a nice high extra point there by Mr. Matthew Word to make it good. 28-0, 4:57. One play, 88 yards. Boy, we're not having to run a lot of plays.
That's 64 touchdowns now.
Oh my! Yeah, that's right. 2 for DeMarcus Bowman.
I'm keeping track. That's great.
The tally, it's like cha-ching, cha-ching. Man, oh man. Duke's was our press box sponsor tonight. They had some wings and some good macaroni salad stuff down there, and got to sample Duke's fine wings, and they're not far located across from my office, so I see them there, and fine organization. They actually have a little get-together after every Dreadnought game. You just have to bring your ticket there, and they have a little Dreadnought soiree after the home games. You're so inclined to do that, so thank you for them for bringing some food out tonight for us.
Lakeland football has created a community event on Friday nights. It's just like it's like the whole town opens up and anticipates the football game. All the restaurants, the fans, everybody gets excited. This is big time football.
I think the rarity too, just of a program, of a coach that has the type of tradition and the type of expectation, and then they deliver. And number 5 again running backwards right into the special teams player. He's just trying too hard, Fred. He's just got to get the ball and get a few yards straight up the field. He does. He can't do anything fancy.
And Tim, there was nothing he could do. There was nowhere to go. I mean, yeah, his only hope would have been to just go straight up. Actually, he would have probably been better off just kneeling, just take a kneel.
That's poor Julian Gonzalez, the 12th grade wide receiver they have him listed also as a defensive back. He's only 5'9", 150, and he just got lit up there at the 10-11 yard line.
Tim, I've been in there. I was a coach for Bill for 3 years. I know the inside. It's a grind. It's a daily commitment. It's hard practices. They make it look easy, but it's not. Those coaches are doing a great job. Coach Pickrell, Coach Harbin, Coach Baylor, Coach Castle, and the defense, Coach Boldini, those guys. I mean, they make it look easy. I keep saying it. We make it look easy, but it's so hard to be consistent.
Back hands off, and the defensive line is all over the running back. He just has nowhere to run. That's
Coach Hallier said it best, Tim. He said that this is a locker room team. And what that means is they're just a tight-knit group, and they believe in themselves. They believe in the scheme. They believe in the coaches. They see the community buying in. They see the support. And when there's just a lot of really cool momentum.
When you have two or more gathered with the same vision, it's tough to break that. 2 or 3, but then you start having a whole team that's on the same.
And you think about what we did last year and what we're trying to do again this year. This is truly historic. We'll look back on these days, and it'll just be good stuff. Very special times.
Number 23, it was intended for Julian Gonzalez, but number 23 for the Dreadnaughts, Kendall Dennis, was whirling, spinning around after that play, upset at himself a little bit because he had a shot at also intercepting that ball deep into the Bulls' territory.
They're out of their offense right now.
Man.
You know how people like to say you're out of your mind? They're out of their offense.
Yeah.
They're not out of their minds. They're just out of their offense.
Not that Beck is even really telegraphing it much. It's just that you can take a risk when you're up 28-0, and when you got that kind of talent and speed.
The defense now, they can just pin their ears back, and they're teeing off on them.
3rd and 10. Another long 3rd down conversion attempt. Beck under pressure. He's rolling out, getting chased, and he's dropped at the 14. That's one of my favorites right there, number 9.
You're talking about a guy that's twice his size running him down.
Dindy.
That's a sophomore. He's our only sophomore.
Love that player right there.
He's the only sophomore on the field right now, Tim. We've only got two guys
shows you
that
how
are returning
special
on defense next year.
Yeah, it shows you how special Dindy is to be out there as a sophomore and being an impact player as a sophomore.
He just outran a quick quarterback from the backside.
He said, "I'm not letting him get away." He's got a little bit bigger stride, but still, he's got a lot more body to move too. Though, as the punter does a nice kick again.
They got a good punter
to Fenley Graham this time at the 50. Fenley's going to get a chance to show his stuff. He is dancing around. He's going to switch field. He's going to get a block by Cartier Hall. Another block, and they do catch him at the 35. Philly just likes toying with him. He's just playing back there.
He was toying with me.
Yes.
He had me moving. If the camera was on me right now, you saw me bobbing and weaving. I was juking.
Which way are you going? He likes to just set things up and then just pick a hole, watch his team block for him, and then just off to the races. Actually, it's a good job by some of the special teams defenders from the Bulls getting around the blockers and actually stopping Fenley Graham.
Your service is greatly appreciated and will always be remembered.
Remind everyone, with just under 3 minutes here at the end of the first quarter, one of those great traditions now the Dreadnaughts have is to turn over to the Lakeland Regional Pediatric Center and to be able to just take a few moments and wave to those kids. I can see a couple cell phones already getting lit up over there in the pediatric children's wing as Garnett does a nice pump fake. Smith, man-to-man coverage, fires it downfield. It's going to be nearly intercepted, but it's blocked down. They had double coverage on him there at the deep in the goal line, but and a little bit late getting that pass off by Garnett.
Yep. I think he tried to force that, but quite frankly, it's because he hasn't been able to throw all. And by the way, we're at the end of the first quarter. It feels like a whole football game already.
Yeah, you can take that kind of.
But he's trying to have some fun. He's trying to take a shot. He hasn't been able to do anything like that. This is it. That was his opportunity to showcase a little bit.
Well, what that showed me was they were playing so far deep off Smith,
and he almost hit him.
But if he does that same kind of route and then just comes back to the ball, he's going to have tons of room. So as Garnett pitches it, nice.
No!
It's on the ground and recovered by the Naughts. Now you can't get a little sloppy here.
Recovered by the Dreadnaughts.
That was a pitch to Bowman, and it seemed like it was pretty good timing, Fred. But
and you know what? I haven't seen. Remember how we used to be an option pitch football team years ago? We don't do a lot of that these days. It's more zone read type stuff. But if you don't practice that all the time, that's a little dangerous.
But you don't use this word a lot.
But I'm sure that they practice it and rep it like crazy, knowing coach.
You don't use this word a lot in football, but when that option is run well, it's one of the prettiest,
beautiful
plays.
Remember Johnny Mack?
Oh, when we used to do that, just get that roll, and it just had a cadence and a rhythm about it as Garnett rolls out to the left side. He has a man wide open, caught at the 22-yard line and dropped out of bounds perfectly. Jalen Roll.
That was a great play. I will tell you, Tim, just looking back, knowing a little history, some of the prettiest option football that I've ever seen in the history of Lakeland football was the relationship that Johnny Jones had with Johnny Mack and Larani Galashaw.
Yeah.
Those three guys, that was a crazy
artwork.
backfield.
Yeah,
that was a dangerous backfield.
Oh, yeah.
Johnny Jones at quarterback, Lorani Galashaw at fullback, and Johnny Mack at tailback. And when those guys ran that triple option football, it was a beautiful thing, especially when we called it the second level pitch, where we get past the first level. Johnny Jones would keep it and then pitch it downstream. Oh, my goodness, it was beautiful.
22-yard line. Garnett drops back 3 steps, fires it over to Smith. Smith has man-to-man coverage, tries to get to the outside, and his speed, he does get tugged out of bounds inside the 5-yard line.
Another first down.
Boy, Arian almost got that corner, too, and would have scored if it weren't for just the grab of the jersey. Still moving the ball in chunks, 18 yards in the air on that play. Already up 28-0, 1st and goal at the 4.
You know, as the players have evolved at the high school level, they're running a lot of schemes that look like the college level now. So this looks almost like a little mini Clemson football team here.
Dreadnaughts in the hammer formation. Quick handoff, push, and dropped right at the 1, so just a yard short. But they still have a few downs left. Bowman trying to get his 3rd tonight.
I don't mean mini as in we're smaller than Clemson.
No.
I think we got some boys that can go to Clemson.
Pretty close.
I think we got a few of them that are going.
Speaking of the college ranks, there's just a small little game, LSU and
Alabama
this weekend. If you're
8
a college football
LSU's
fan,
been
they haven't beat them yet.
8 years.
Since
LSU's been
2011
thinking
or
about
something.
this.
Yeah, that's right. They got a shot for sure. They got some talented players. Could be one for the ages. Strong hammer formation. This time they'll go away from Bowman with the quick to
There it is.
Martin. Jakari easily takes it in. Hey, which one do you cover? I'm just amazed by that, the simplicity but effectiveness of that play. It's just so difficult.
That's a weight room play, Tim. Those guys work so hard. I was looking at both teams pregame. I like to look at both teams with their shirts on. With no pads. And when you look at Lakeland and you look how built they are and how strong they are, and you look at the opponents, and I'm not picking on the Bulls, I'm not picking on Wiregrass, but it seems like every team that I see that comes in here and plays us, they don't look as big as us, they don't look as strong as us, and it's not just because we have these incredible guys that are on our team that move in from places. This discipline is built in the weight room. Bill Castle is a weight room guy. He's a strength guy, and that's a big difference. Big difference between teams that come in here to play us.
We're going to keep it here because we're about to have the end of the first quarter. We can take a timeout there, but we'll just hold it right here as Jakari Martin puts it through from 1 yard. But the way that setup is, Fred, is by the time you literally on defense have to completely guess. Like you don't have time to if you already see and wait to see who has the ball, it's too late because he's already got momentum in past the goal line.
Yep.
And so you literally almost have to just throw the linebackers into a gap and hope that's the right gap.
Right.
That's the only way you're even going to think about stopping
And what Coach Castle doesn't have to do, which he has the ability to do, is if you stuff him inside, he'll go outside. But 99% of the time, if you've been looking at our short yardage offense, we've never had to go wide.
Yeah, that is not necessary.
We just haven't, and coach is not going to go wide and take any risk if we're able to go up the middle every time.
Folks, we're not even at the end of the first quarter yet, and this regional quarterfinal game is already, it would normally be a running clock, point differential. Just fantastic play by the Naughts tonight, early and often.
Good kick into the wind.
Good kick all the way to the 3-yard line. Walker, their talented running back, makes a nice move. His knee may have gone down, but doesn't matter. He still went out of bounds.
For how many years have I said we've been running those same plays on goal line?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I can't count that. Like 20 years, 30? I mean, how long?
30?
Yeah.
I keep saying 30. I don't
Decades.
know if it's 30, but it seems like forever. Same play. I remember Coach Galloway saying, why do we need to put in an extra play if you can't stop the one we're running?
That's right. It's just redundancy.
He goes, stop the one we're running, and we'll put in another play.
That's it. I haven't seen a team be able to do it yet. It's just so well executed and blocked. Is just poor Wiregrass deflated. You can even see him coming out. Took them twice as long to get to the ball. They're just weary here at Bill Castle Field, but they're going to keep playing. The Dreadnaught defense wraps them up right there at the line of scrimmage. No gain.
The defensive line is just holding their ground, Tim. I mean, my goodness. there's just that this battle is being won at the line of scrimmage. I mean, to the 10th power. I mean, they just can't. There's a big difference at the line of scrimmage is all I can tell you on offense and defense. We're winning the battle there big time.
Yeah.
We can't even see what kind of skill their skill players have because if you, like you said, if you can't block and protect your quarterback, you're not going to be able to show your scheme.
And we do finally reach the end of the first quarter with a final score at the end of the first quarter of 35-0. And now is that time for the Dreadnought Wave. And you can see right over there, I don't know if the camera's going to be able to get up there on the 6th floor of the Barnett Pavilion, the Lakeland Regional Health Pediatric Center is a good representation up there. There they are. You can see on your screen you got several, 1, 2, 3, 4, several fans enjoying the Dreadnought Wave as we all participate here up in the press box and in the stands. Everyone with their phones out. Very cool. Special kids, as this goes along, we've talked about several of the Dreadnought players that have been able to take a more active part by actually going up and visiting some of those kids, just to put a brief but important smile on their face.
Yep. It's humbling.
Yep.
Is all I can tell you. It's humbling.
Why don't we take a quick 30-second timeout here at the end of the first quarter? We'll be right back to start the second quarter.
Let's do it.
One of the most important things that we do is actually sit down and take the time to have a good understanding. Having a customer that maybe is opening another location and to help them either secure another piece of property. Whenever our customers are successful, we feel successful as well. And just being able to share in that process is a great experience, and that's why we do what we do.
Center State Bank. You can just heard Fred is trying to hopefully get over some schmutz. I don't know what he's got over there. It's hard because we want to be giving high fives. We're giving elbows.
We're giving elbows.
So
that's right.
We don't pass it along, but always a fun thing.
Oh my goodness, that was a sack.
That was ugly.
Awful sack. Crazy sack.
It was
a killer sack.
Harsh looking.
That was a bear mauling.
We didn't
that was a bear mauling.
Call it as
that's Grizzly Adams.
Poor Beck
he just got mauled.
We don't even know what other word to use because the Dreadnoughts were in like a
he had his hands. What defensive tackle was that, Tim? Was that a linebacker or a defensive? That was crazy.
It was a grizzly bear, like you said.
He came out with his arms, and that quarterback just all he could do was pray.
Yeah, he just turned and dove the other way because he was about to get completely annihilated. And that'll bring up a huge now 3rd down and 17. Beck, hands off left side. Nice little gap there and a good move.
Oh, he laid it on the ground. That's a real one.
Down,
oh, my goodness. Look at that.
Picked up nicely.
What a break.
Yeah, that's a good break for Wiregrass.
What a break.
Forward, perhaps their longest offensive play of the night on the fumble play. Number 5, Julian Gonzalez, recovers, and it results in a first down for the Bulls.
What a break.
However you got to do it, right? Crazy is a nice little cut by the running back who actually broke through the defensive line and then just got hit from behind. The ball came loose, went forward about 10 yards, and Gonzalez picked it up for the first down.
They got 3 wides. Let's see if they can get into the hands of some of their athletes.
Gonzalez was the only one out there, too, in a white jersey. We had 3 or 4 other Dreadnought jerseys out there if he didn't pick it up.
Ooh!
Pretty good. Well, decent run for a few yards. Number 24, Nathan Miller, picks up about 4 yards on first down. Just underway, second quarter, 10:36. Thank you for joining us. If you're all around the state, whether you're in Lakeland or somewhere overseas, we thank you so much for joining us on this webcast. We have lots of fun, and Fred joining me up here, so kind to be a partner and just help me bring you some fun Dreadnought football. And this is what it's all about, is being the Dreadnought family, just enjoying watching our kids, all their hard work pay off a little bit as Walker does break a tackle and picks up a few more yards after the catch.
Run out of bounds by Champ Johnson.
Champ Johnson having a nice little game tonight. It'll bring up a 3rd and short for the Bulls.
4 yards, brings up 3rd down and 1.
the Bulls were able to sneak it over Fred into Dreadnought territory one time tonight. They were at the 48, and that was about it.
I think, and what caused it was a 15-yard penalty.
15-yard penalty, but they're trying to get back there in scoring territory on this third down, and they did not get it. They went backwards a few yards, so it'll be 4th and 2 or 3. What do you do here, down 35-0?
You know, as we approach the end of the quarter, I'll share some thoughts summarizing what I think is going on between the two teams. But you know, the big games, the big game is against the big teams. They're losing, and I'll expand upon that in just a little bit. But they're losing the big games against the big teams, and they're losing them by big scores, big margins.
That's not a fluke either, as that's a nicely set up play as they get it out to number 7 in the flat. He came back to the middle of the field, and Walker picked up a nice first down at the 45-yard line. Jalen Christian on the tackle. That was a good-looking play. That was one of their most effective plays where they actually had some separation from the Dreadnought defense and gave Walker at least a little bit of yardage to work with those yaks, those yards after the catch. And he made it happen on a first down, and fresh set of downs at the 45. Trailing 35-0 are the Bulls. Just trying to save face a little bit here as a late handoff fumble, ball on the ground, and they're going to still on the ground. Pops for you, and I think the Dreadnoughts got it now. So,
looks like Dreadnought ball. Another turnover, Tim.
Third turnover of the evening, of the half. Still not out of the first half yet. First down, Knox. So the Dreadnought defense,
big play.
You can't even say bending. They didn't even bend. They just.
Tim, I'm noticing on the line of scrimmage, and I'm paying attention. They're just not strong enough. They're just not as strong as we are, and that's what it really boils down to in the end. We're winning the battle in the trenches, and it's because they're just not strong enough. But again, you got to give them credit for making it to the playoffs, and they're learning how to win in the regular season. 7-3 is not bad, making it to the playoffs, but to get to the next level, they've got to step it up. They've got to increase the strength. They got to work on their strength program. Their scheme ain't bad, but if you ain't strong enough, you can't hang with the big boys.
So nice pass, Garnett out to Smith. And it's going to be a little bit short of the first down, about 4 yards. 6-yard gain, and a little bit of a slip as Smith tried to make a hard cut back to the inside. 2nd down and 4. Garnett actually a little shallow on that pass. He made Smith come back a little bit, which kind of stopped his momentum. He had to kind of gear up and then look at the defense, try to get a few yards, and good pursuit by the Bulls. But 2nd down and 4 for the Dreadnought offense. Strong I formation with Martin and Bowman. Late handoff,
little draw play.
On nice cut by Bowman. I think DeMarcus expects to score almost every time he gets the ball.
He does.
He's disappointed when he gets tackled after a 10-yard gain.
Especially in the first half, because he knows he's not playing in the second half.
That's a good point. You know, I was talking about that with...
and keep in mind, a lot of these points that we've been scoring, so I just got done telling you what we're averaging total yards. That's basically in the first half, because we really haven't played a whole lot of 3rd and 4th quarter football all year long.
Exactly what I was about to say.
If Coach were to turn the offense loose for 4 quarters, the stats would be record-breaking stats.
Yes. That is exactly what I'll expand on that in just a second. Is handoff Jakari Martin breaks 2-3 tackles there.
Unbelievable.
So I picked a gentleman up who's an older gentleman, but he's a big Dreadnought fan. He said the same thing. He's like, Stuart Butler has got the most yards and Chris Rainey, and then DeMarcus is trying to catch him on a few things. And we said the same thing. Well, if DeMarcus was able to play the whole game or into the second half, it wouldn't even probably be close.
But if you're comparing a Dreadnought to a Dreadnought, it's pretty fair because Chris Rainey was out. He was out of the game most 3rd and 4th quarters as well.
Yeah.
So what he did his damage in 2 quarters as well. Because Coach was taking him out of the ball game unless it was close games, but a lot of times we weren't close games.
Yep. Good point. Handoff, Garnett, Bowman with some room. Plenty of block. Beautiful blocking for DeMarcus Bowman. His third touchdown, the hat trick for DeMarcus Bowman in the first half.
My goodness. He's at 65.
We're at a hockey game. We'd be chucking our hats out there. The hat trick.
He had 11 to go. Now he's got 8.
My. At this pace with 4 games to go, of course, like you said, he's probably going to be out here in the second half.
Yeah. And I can assure you, Coach is not worried about stats.
No. They're fun to look at, but Coach Castle is not
Yeah.
for us. Matthew Ward getting quite the workout here at the 6.
Hit the Jumbotron. Oh, little fake action.
We've seen that before, but this time the Wiregrass Bulls actually kind of snuffed it out and had good pursuit on Smith. Point after attempt, no good. They tried a 2-point. We think that was
Coach was trying to make up for the.
Yeah.
The scoring play was DeMarcus Bowman's 21-yard.
So Debo with a 21-yarder there. He had near was an 80-some yarder in the first. He's over 100 yards for sure here in this first half easily.
I would imagine so.
Tonight's sponsor of the game.
He said that one run alone was coast to coast.
Yep. Got lots of sponsors. The actual game sponsor out on the field is Mid-Florida Credit. Of course, our webcast sponsor is Jeff and Marilyn Klein. We'll be speaking with Jeff a little bit here at halftime, just to talk with him just for a minute about his family, kind of give us an update on what the kids are doing, and always exciting to see what the Klein family's up to.
Chances are this is happening to someone.
I know you
looking
don't
at
feel
some
great,
Dreadnought
Fred, but
fans.
this has got to make you feel a little good. This got to be like a shot of adrenaline almost being here, even though you don't feel good watching the Dreadnoughts play on this level.
Well, I got the text earlier in the day, and I was thinking, you know
Start
what?
pounding some NyQuil or something. Or
I was thinking I'm going to come watch the game for the first half and then just go home and lay down. And I got the text, and all of a sudden I was saying, and then I was going to say no, and then I said, you know what? I can't pass up this opportunity.
Oh, man,
Anytime
thanks.
I get a chance to not have to sit in the stands, because I'm a coach
Yeah.
at heart. I don't want to sit in the stands. I don't like watching football games. I like being a part of the game.
Absolutely.
So
This feels
this
like
is a lot of fun.
Yeah. I know. It's just.
I appreciate the opportunity to be up here, and I love talking about our players. I love watching our cheerleaders, our anchorettes, our fans, the boosters, just everybody involved with the video, the airtime. It's amazing.
One of the best views in the house. Well, we're glad you girded up the loins and brought it out here to join us. And you're getting treated. All of us Dreadnought fans are getting treated tonight for sure with some high-level football by your Knots. As pumped up Matthew Ward kicks it about 5 yards deep.
Touchback. The Bulls will take over. First down and 10 from their own 20-yard line.
Oh, poor Brecht is like, oh boy, here we go again. Deep and. I know what happened last time I was dancing around this area of the field.
Oh my goodness, Tim, making me laugh.
That was fun. It almost didn't even look real, that one sack he had. It almost looked like he had no defense and just said, let him go and just let's see what happens.
I'm going to call that the bear mauling sack.
That was the bear maul.
That was the
It's
bear
almost
mauling
like
sack. That was
his
amazing.
defensive line or his offensive line played a trick on him and just said, we're going to let everyone just go and just let him
Coach needs to have that on the highlight reel.
Yeah,
That's shown in slow motion.
That's great.
With a bear growl in the background.
They'll do it.
Remember that, Coach. Put that on the highlight tape for me. Call it the bear mauling. Slow motion.
Offense talking things over down, sitting, looking at some. They're all smiles down there. They're all they're feeling pretty good about
It's
themselves.
nice. The only thing bad is you start to see some Dreadnought fans go home because they're nice and happy.
Yeah.
Now they're wanting to go out to eat. They're
Feeling pretty
They
good.
got their victory.
Calling it an evening, and we're going to call it a timeout here at this second quarter water break with 6:18 left. Dreadnoughts in command, fully 41-0. We'll be right back after these short messages.
Growing up in Florida, I've always enjoyed exploring the lakes, rivers, bays, and the Gulf. But when entering unfamiliar waters, I do best when guided by a local expert. No one knows the way like they do. Likewise, when you get hurt on the job, you may need help to navigate state and federal laws that protect you and your family. If you find yourself in unfamiliar or troubled waters, hire an expert guide. Hire Smith, Fedler & Smith.
Our friend and fellow Dreadnought, Brad Smith with Smith, Fedler & Smith. Rich history of helping folks that need it on personal injury, and so certainly give Brad a call. He's been a great sponsor and loves to come to the Dreadnought games as well. See him here often as Brett tried to fake go to the opposite side, getting pressure now, throws it to nobody. Whew. There was not a white jersey within 20 yards of that pass.
Oh my goodness, that looks like
a late flag.
It looks like probably unsportsmanlike on our part.
No, it's intentional grounding.
Is it in them? Okay, good.
They did survey and look around and said, you know what, you're probably right.
Maybe our players got a little lippy or something. I don't know.
I'm glad you said players. I thought it was one of our coaches getting a little lippy.
No, I would hope not. No, I'm glad it was against them. Good job.
I think the refs kind of surveyed things and said, you know what, that's the right call, even though poor Bulls are getting beat up. That's
the only thing I'm concerned about is I hope our guys just win gracefully, and they've done a fantastic job tonight. We haven't had hardly any penalties. I don't know that we've had any except just one sportsmanlike.
Yeah.
That's about it.
So 2nd and 22 now after that intentional grounding penalty. We're going to try to see if Brett has some time. They're going to spread the field and the hand off the right side in the Dreadnaughts. You know, when you see Dreadnaughts around the backside behind grabbing the runner, they're getting some pretty good penetration.
Oh, yeah. That was an attempt to give it to number 24, their senior tailback, Nate Miller. I mean, they're trying. They just can't. They're just not strong enough, Tim, on the line of scrimmage. I mean, I'm going to have a little fun picking on my favorite college football team, but they look like FSU. I mean, they can't.
Ouch.
That's terrible, isn't
it?
Terrible. Terrible. That's my favorite team. For those of you that know me, you know I love Florida State. But it's painful to watch. It's terrible.
Some crazy talk on ESPN and some of the stations about possibly Deion Sanders.
Oh, yeah.
I know. My goodness. Just because of the recruiting.
Who knows what the rumor mill is going to be.
That's a crazy thought, but, who knows?
We got to get it right, though.
Yeah,
we got to get it right.
Sure.
I don't know who it's going to be, but we got to get it right.
Whistles blow as Brett drops back.
For the sake of Florida football.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's going to take them a while no matter who's in there.
That's
for sure,
right.
to get back to where they need to be. And it's not fun. I don't care if you're a Florida or a Miami fan or something. You don't like to see a team that.
No,
it's not good for anybody when you have that kind of drop off.
I'm one of those rare entire Florida State fans. In other words, I pull for the Gators, I pull for Miami, I pull for Florida State. I have an order. I have an order.
There with you. I'm the same way. I want to see all of them do really well. As Brett back in his end zone, getting pressure. We had him, and he threw it over the middle. Oh, late flag. They're going to call pass interference. One of our guys did grab the receiver, even though he wouldn't have caught it.
I like to see us all having success in the state of Florida. It's good for recruiting. It's good for football. It's good for – it's just good. And we've got the athletes. There's no reason why we can't be ranked and winning.
Yeah, that's what amazes me is that the talent level that is still there. And just but it talks about what we said earlier about if you don't have any chemistry in the coaching and they're just disheveled, it doesn't matter how much talent you have. It just doesn't work.
Well, I've always said that one of the big reasons that we're so successful is because we've had continuity of coaching. Mm-hmm. Coach Castle's been here for a long time, and most of his coaches, they stick with him. So that continuity is very important.
Oh, sure. After the penalty against the Knots, 3rd and 16. So not much of a glimmer of hope, not too much better, but a chance here on 3rd down, dropping back. And oh my. Kaboom.
I think 4 defensive tackles hit him.
That did not feel good. Again, that's where you start to feel bad. You don't want to get him.
He's going to need an ice bath.
Yes, that was.
He's coming off slow.
The Bear called his Bear friends that time and said, let's just.
Yep. There's just not a whole lot to say about that, Tim.
I'm watching the receivers. They're not running bad routes, and a few of them are even open. And
they got athletes. They're just losing the battle on the line of scrimmage, and so if you're losing it on the line of scrimmage, you have no scheme. Throw it out. Throw it. I mean, it's out the door. It's done.
Mm-hmm. And the punter is literally heels on the back of the end zone. He can't take a step backwards, and he doesn't, and he shanks it as he's visibly upset, kicks it into the stands, as a matter of fact.
Yeah. At this point, they just want to go into the locker room and then come out, and hopefully they'll agree to a running clock at halftime, let some of the underclassmen get some experience, and everybody go home.
Mm-hmm. It's sobering for some of the seniors, of course, on the Bull side. That's the last time they're going to play.
And you know what? They've had a phenomenal season. They've won 7 games. They made it to the playoffs. It's just unfortunate that they got to come through Bryant Stadium. Mm-hmm. It's just unfortunate.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Like my daughter was trying to clep a test and just missed it by a few points. But it's almost better when you get annihilated. Like, it's like, okay, we weren't even in that. We know what we got to do. We're not even close. Rather than coming in and losing by a point or two, at least they're they realize that, hey, we didn't really have a shot, but we had a decent season. We're learning, as you said, and try to get better to compete with some of these better, higher level teams as Garnett keeps it that time. Playing the quarterback keeper. Shows the ball to Bowman and then holds it, pulls it back. And Rudolph with a pretty nice tackle for the Bulls. Picks up a few yards, yard and a half only. 2nd and 9, we'll call it.
Play gain a yard, brings up 2nd down and 9.
Plenty of time, though. Coach Castle, hate to even say this, but slowing things down maybe a little bit. The veracity with which we've scored and the quickness, we have 3:07 left. He's probably maybe trying to take a little time off this clock as decent pass play to number 16. That was Gavin Carter, the senior wide receiver. Haven't called Gavin's name too much, but Larry Gibbs comes up for the Bulls and makes a really fine tackle, and we actually lost about 4 yards on that play, so the Dreadnaughts going backwards on this series. Garnett with the keeper, and then the pass play losing a few yards. 3rd and 14. 84 checks out.
So Coach still has the horses in there. He probably wants to get in the end zone one more time, I'm sure.
Martin and Bowman. Bowman gets it on a nice block. Has room to the outside.
He's
Bowman's
got damage.
Plenty of rooms. Cut back to the outside. Following his blockers. Late flag holding call on the outside by the Knots.
This might be coming back.
Multiple flags at the end of the play.
Yeah.
They kept flying. Everyone that had
flags,
a flag.
multiple flags.
Yeah. Looked like a coordinated flag effort. There's holding call against the Knots. Out on the exterior, one of the wide receivers just trying to help Bowman out, maybe just grabbed a little too much. At least as the ref saw things. So what was going to be a 1st down and 1st and goal inside the 5. So from the spot of the foul, they'd lose yards, but still have a 3rd and 9.
Penalty results in 3rd down and 9.
Congratulations. Look at the Wiregrass band over there cranking up, sounding really good. Garnett, 3-step drop fake, roll out, left side, getting pressure, steps up, and he's under duress and throws the number 14. Caught over the middle of the field. Lots of room, and Andrew Proctor. Maybe a name you haven't heard of a whole lot, but Andrew Proctor, right place, right time. Garnett,
unbelievable.
Under duress, makes a beautiful pass.
Well, that's why he's a Division I recruit.
Wow.
He's a player. And that's what's expected of you in situations like that, to come up with a play.
I know.
Good job.
It's not near NFL.
Great job.
But you see top NFL players make plays like that. When
That's
they're under
right.
duress, they find a way to somehow find an open receiver, and they keep the play alive by being heads up and fighting.
I mean, he practically threw that ball being tackled.
That's fantastic.
That shows the strength he's got. Good job, Shale.
And the score that Castle wanted before the half, he gets on a beautiful pass play from his quarterback, senior Garnett, to Proctor. Woo! And Word tacks the extra point on. And 3 plays, 20 yards. It had a couple tiny little missteps there, but they got the job done in the end. And with 1:39 left in the first half, commanding lead 48-0. We'll keep it here because, again, we'll take some time at the halftime to give our sponsors some tune-up. But just impressive, Fred Lopez. I mean, a lot of fun to watch when they're at this level.
Well, Lakeland is playing high-level 7A football, and the Bulls, they're just not there yet. They're playing competitively with average teams, but they're getting beat pretty strongly by good teams. And so to get to the next level, they're almost playing that second tier, that lower level type of football.
They're the top of like the second tier, but they're not up there on the first
right.
tier. Yeah.
So in order for them to get into the top, to play top quartile football, They've got to improve the strength of their weight program. They got to get players. They got to get strong players. They got to build their program. They got scheme. They got the coach. They got to feel good about what they're doing, but they got to be making strides if they want to get to that. If they want to be able to play top tier football, they're pretty good in that second tier. But when they start flirting and playing with the stronger teams, they get beat pretty badly, and that's usually that's a battle at the line of scrimmage.
Well, and then you get this region with Lakeland High School in it all the time that you got to face.
And it's unfortunately that the top tier team that they're playing is Lakeland at Bryant. They just can't get past us.
St. Thomas Aquinas 35, South Broward 0.
St.
Thomas 35 zip.
A very reminiscent game as the Dreadnaughts. They're up 35-0 on their opponent at the end of the first quarter, so that's exactly what the Dreadnaughts did to Wiregrass. So it
looks like we're headed for another showcase showdown.
Oh my goodness.
The 2019 football media guide is dedicated this
I think I heard Lake Gibson
JROTC
was up
for providing the
in their
right
playoff
victory
game.
Spirit tunnel to the Dreadnought team and fans for the past 16 years.
Right now we're talking as they were announcing some of the other scores, but we will bring those to you as we have them.
Looks like we got the Supernaut Klein family here setting up for halftime, Tim.
Very good, very good. I love it.
Build them up. They're a great family.
Yeah.
Jeff's a super guy.
Oh, hard hitting going on in the interior. Late flag.
Nathan Miller on the carry. Flag on the play.
It's interesting. I happened to just look at that ref right when he was pulling that thing out of his pocket. He slung it, man. He down there with some authority.
Absolutely.
Personal foul face mask. So
got to give credit to the Dreadnought defense. I said it at the beginning of the game that was going to be the difference. Obviously, offense was offense. I would have expected the Bulls to have a little bit more offense, but our defense played that much more stout, which I thought, I mean, at this stage in the playoffs, you need both at a high level. And our defense is just clicking, just like last year. Remember the defense last year?
Oh, yeah.
They were just clicking. Defense is clicking and offense is clicking.
And you
all
might
at the right time.
be able to speak to this more as a coach. The play they ran earlier that was successful to number 7, who you can see takes off.
He's quick.
Yeah, he's very quick. So nice looking play to Walker and picks up positive yards into Dreadnought territory. Nice play. But when you score that quick against the other team, it just takes a little out of you. It takes a little out of your offense because you're already down 14 points. Like you said, it gets you off your game plan.
You're shell shocked. You're out of your.
Right.
You no longer have the script that you had in your folder, the script you had in your mind. It's done.
Look at that, running that same play. That's the only thing that's working. So they're running.
And he just got clocked.
Yeah, they're running it every play now. And it doesn't take long for the Knots to figure it out. They picked it up quick there and just drilled Walker.
Again, I don't want to beat up on Wiregrass. 7 wins. They've had a heck of a season. They got a lot to be proud of. And these are young men that are fighting, young coaches that are fighting and building their program, not to knock them.
Well, again,
but Lakeland is just, we're just established and we're strong and we're here.
But I understand the 7-3 from the win side because I can see where the quarterback, Breck, if he gets time, he could definitely hit some receivers. And of course, Walker, we saw his speed right there.
This is just another level. Yeah, Lakeland is just playing at another level. We're taking care of business.
In the top 10 national ranking would certainly indicate that and as well justify. We know rankings don't mean a whole lot in high school, but the reality is that they deserve to be in that top rank. There's very few teams at the level that this high school team is at right now. There's
Tim,
a handful, maybe.
In fine fashion, you know what I got to do.
Are you
There's 15 seconds.
Oh, go for it. Go get some rest.
All right, Dreadnought fans. I'm out. Enjoy the second half.
Yeah.
I'm going to lay down.
Go
Tim,
lay down.
thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Man. Appreciate you
okay.
coming up, not feeling so well. I know he felt worse than he let on, but he sacked up for the Dreadnought fans and came out to help me as well up in the press box. So thank you so much, Fred.
Take care. You guys have a good night. God bless you.
See you again next week. Absolutely. So with that, just the last play of these first half will come as Fred always adds so much in terms of just preparation. You know, he's just that kind that he will like to lay out schemes, and he talked about how Wiregrass is just really in a building mode, and of course the Dreadnoughts established. We saw that tonight, and something to build off of. Even though they got spanked, there's a good-looking pass, but the Dreadnought broke on it beautifully, and Brett's pass should have been picked off. boy, the Dreadnought defensive backs. I think that was Malik Whitaker.
Pass was broken up by Malik Whitaker.
It was Whitaker, number 36, who stepped in front and dove, and the ball just bounced out of his breadbasket. And
Brings up 4th down for the Bulls.
that'll be a 4th down, but why not give it a try? You're into Dreadnought territory. You can't really do too much better with a punt with the returns that the Dreadnoughts have had and the shaky punting from the Bulls. They're just going to give it a shot. They're going to send number 5 out to this wide side. That's Gonzalez, who has some wheels. Breck takes 3 steps, dropping, looking to the right side. Number 10 caught. So it will be a 1st down, but the clock is their enemy here now with just 5 seconds left in the first half.
Play results on a Bulls 1st down.
It's number 10 again, Tyler Bruckner, who has had a couple of receptions for the Bulls in the first half. And the Bulls would like to talk things over with just 5 ticks left on the clock.
Timeout Bulls. That is their 3rd and final timeout of the first half.
That is their 3rd and final timeout. We'll keep it here with only 5 seconds left. And we'll take a brief timeout after the first half comes to an end. And then we'll come back and talk a little with, as the band is playing and the anchorettes are dancing, with Jeff Klein, who again is helped sponsor the webcast tonight. Of course, the Polk County had their elections this past Tuesday, the interim elections, and we had a couple commissioner seats open and available. Tiger Reed re-upped his commissioner seat, but there is a runoff between Chad McLeod and his opponent. Can't remember her name exactly. I apologize. I think it's Carol Phillips, maybe. So there'll be a runoff December 3rd for that last seat. As this should be the attempt, look at this, to put some points on the board. This kicker is capable. As the ball is down, kick is blocked. Now again, that may be returnable, I'm not sure. He picked it up and he's got tons of room and blockers. He cuts back to the middle and some good blocks, but he's going to be tackled down at the 45 as time runs out. But that blocked kick is returnable. Dreadnought player down. He got hit kind of awkwardly at the end of the first half. Number 22 for the Knots, who picked it up and tried to make a return, Champ Johnson, who had a very nice first half. But I think his shoulder got hit right on a bad spot. But that is officially the end of the first half, with the Knots putting on quite the performance, both sides of the ball, not allowing any points and tacking up 48 on several turnovers, as both teams will go into halftime, as the Anchorettes will set to perform here at halftime. And we'll be back right after these messages to talk to Jeff Klein and the Klein family. We'll be right back after these messages.
This is what you expect.
Well, don't worry. The whole family's going to like this. It's not going to be here tomorrow, I'll tell you that much. It's beautiful. Oh, don't worry about that. We'll fix it. We're going to handle everything.
And this is a different experience.
Welcome to Regal. Every customer that walks through our doors, they have hopes, dreams, plans that they want to execute in their lives, and we are a facilitator to help them accomplish those dreams. I think we should never lose sight of the fact that we are a trusted advisor to our clients, which allows us to really formulate a relationship with an entire family that spans generations, and it's frankly something that brings the most satisfaction to what we do every day.
Good times, and all the flavor of New Orleans at Harry's Seafood Bar and Grill.
Back up in the press box here, high above Bill Castlefield, and joining me is a very special guest. And, there's in all sincerity, very few families that have a heart for Dreadnought football and have had the rich history that the Klein family's had. And Jeff joining me up here in the press box. Jeff Klein, thank you so much.
Tim? It's always good to see you.
Doing fantastic. And,
we're doing fantastic here again tonight. And,
my goodness.
As always, these running clocks, I think we're all getting tired of this.
Isn't that the truth?
We're not getting our money's worth.
I know it, right?
Yeah.
We want to see good, challenging football. We don't mind the Dreadnoughts blowing them out. But at the same time, it can get a little old with that running clock at times. But that just shows you the talent level.
Absolutely.
And Fred and I were talking about how, some of these teams that come in the first rounds of the playoffs just are not up to that next echelon, that next level.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of what you get here. But
I'm afraid we're about to hit a wall, though.
There's some people coming down the line.
Yeah, Tampa Bay Tech is not going to be easy. And sooner or later, the road's going to lead Armwood.
That's it. And those of us that know that they're no joke for sure. And so we're going to have to keep the same sharp and focusedness that Coach Castle has. But, you and Maryland are so kind again to sponsor us and the webcast. We thank you so much because you're the ones that allow us to bring it to you. And we talk a little bit about some of the people the fans, the history that the Klein family has had. Yeah. And I think it starts back with your brother, I believe,
right.
Jim.
Well, the oldest. So Jim played in 1969. Well, graduated in 69. And then my brother Greg in 73, me in 74, my son Kyle in 2003, and then Colin in 2006. So Colin was the only one, though. Colin went 3 state championship. So
does he bug Kyle a lot?
He bugs Kyle a lot. Yeah, in fact, I got a text in my phone right now. I asked Kyle, I said, when did you graduate again? And he said, 2003.
Exactly.
And Colin came out and said, but I won 3 state championships. So,
That's great. Well, I remember because I was still broadcasting with Colin and Kyle, and so I got to see both of them. And incredible, both athletes in their own right. And so I assume they're doing well. And
I'm so proud of them.
Yeah, good.
I'll tell you, this program, and I mean it sincerely, it just develops you into a man. The hardest thing that I exercise a lot, and I've been working my whole 45 years now. But the hardest thing that I've ever done in my life was two-a-day football.
Isn't that
the hardest thing, and you never forget that, whether you're working out or you're working long hours at work, and that work ethic, I'm just proud to say, has spread through my family and my brothers, and I just can't say enough about this program and what this coach has meant to this community and these young men out here. Man, I'm telling you, it builds men.
Well, I mean, life's not easy. It doesn't, the work doesn't stop. And to have that kind of work ethic, some of the kids never get exposed to that until they get into this type of program. They don't understand what hard work does and then what hard work can produce. There's no substitute. I mean, there's a lot of talent, obviously, with any profession, and you develop skills and improve yourself, but no substitute for hard work.
Oh, I know. And I tell you, and so the point is, I've been blessed to be successful. And I want to keep building on it. And as I said, it's brought so much to me personally, into my family that it's at any time I can help
That's
as
great.
much as I can help.
That's
we do.
awesome,
So.
Jeff. And we all appreciate you. And it's this Dreadnought family that we just sometimes don't even realize what we have in Coach Castle, the consistency of the coaching, the consistency of the program, the high level. And again, setting up to do some things that are unprecedented now, chasing the second state championship. But we have a few people to get in front of. You just heard St. Thomas was up 35-0 in the first quarter against their opponent. So you start looking at those brackets and you see we still got a ways to go here. But
Wayne Peace and I were we're sitting together down there, and we were just talking about Bill and his play calling and his Wild Bill. We've talked about this on the air before. His Wild Bill reputation all developed back in our years.
Those days.
And we were talking about how much he's mellowed over the years and come down. But such a genius, and he's just been the best figure for these kids, the best example, the best mentor that this community could ever wish.
There's a few, literally handful of people in the country that you can talk at the same level that Coach Castle has done for a program and a community. And he's continued to do that. It's funny. Yeah. Wayne Peace, remember those days? That seems like yesterday. But real quick story, Wayne and I were at a State Farm picnic together when he was still an athlete. It just came from University of Florida, and we did the wheelbarrow race. Yeah. And, of course, I was the wheelbarrow part. Yeah. And Wayne, when the gun went off, he's a competitor. Yeah. He said, go. He just started running. My little hands couldn't keep up, and he just face plowed me like 50 yards, but we won. But, I had grass stains all over me for the next, but it was funny.
Yeah, he's been a blast, and he's been so good for this community too.
Yeah,
it's all. It's just.
That's kind of my point.
Really
you start talking about the Wayne Pieces and your family and just those that constantly come back to accessories. All those families that make such an impact and stay with us for generations. Yeah. And then you can easily after your child leaves say, I'm done with that, and they're out of it. But no, that's not what Dreadnought football is about.
No, it's not.
And so, like you said, you're willing to step up.
That's why we're the success we are, though.
That's exactly.
Everybody wants to play here, and I'd like to. I really would like to see us do a little bit better in the polls. I think we get. I really think we get hogwashed. I mean, with St. Thomas at the start of the season after the
How
beatdown
can we beat them? I know it. I think the same
and
thing.
here it is again, and hopefully we'll take this thing all the way to the end and show them one more time.
I think is that gives Coach Castle a little fodder for the locker room talk. But
absolutely.
I agree with you. How can you beat someone like we did last year, come back as strong as we are, and be behind them in almost every poll? But
one thing about it, doesn't cost you anything.
That's
just
true.
Work harder.
Yeah, that's it.
It's pride.
Well, something to potentially look forward to. Obviously, we got this one in the bag, so to speak. But we've got 4 more that are not going to be easy. They're only getting tougher from here.
Tougher.
Yeah. So we just want to again thank you so much. We appreciate it. It's always a pleasure talking to you.
Anytime I can help.
Yeah. And we hope. I know we'll see you again.
I travel a lot during the year. I go to different places. Don't come to all the games. Whenever I'm away, I watch.
Fantastic!
It's just fantastic.
Oh, good.
And that's why it's so easy. The other night when they said, "Hey, man, we need a sponsor," I said, I know a lot of guys that aren't going to be here tonight, and they're going to want to watch it. And so I said, the old Kleins will pull up, and we did it.
Isn't that a blessing? Yeah, thank you again so much. Okay. It was great seeing you. Tell Marilyn hello and the rest of the family, and thanks so much to the Klein family. Again, so Jeff Klein, again, just getting a chance to express how much he loves Dreadnought football and how much they do for the Dreadnought family, and we thank them so much. As we'll take you can either listen to the drum corps here for the last few minutes of the first half. I'm going to go take a quick break and grab a fresh water. We'll be right back with you for second half action, although we should have a running clock, so stay with us, folks.
At the Spine Institute of Central Florida, we view surgery as a last resort. When needed, we employ the least invasive state-of-the-art spine surgical techniques to fix the problem at the source. Our highly trained experts provide the entire spectrum of non-surgical and surgical spine care all under one roof. Our unique approach ensures that you get the best results possible, maximize your recovery, and get back to what you love. Spine Institute of Central Florida. Trust nothing but the very best for your spine care.
Agnini Family Dental truly is a family of doctors. We strive to give our patients a patient-first dental experience. Our goal at Agnini Family Dental is to provide our patients with the highest level of comprehensive dental care and prevention. Every member of our team promises to put the needs and concerns of every patient first in every aspect of their dental care. Our family of doctors take a tooth-conservative approach to restorative dentistry with a special focus on sedation dentistry, implant dentistry, and orthodontics. Call to schedule your appointment today and let our family of doctors change the way you look at dentistry.
One of the most important things that we do is actually sit down and take the time to have a good understanding. Having a customer that maybe is opening another location and to help them either secure another piece of property. Whenever our customers are successful, we feel successful as well. And just being able to share in that process is a great experience, and that's why we do what we do.
Growing up in Florida, I've always enjoyed exploring the lakes, rivers, bays, and the Gulf. But when entering unfamiliar waters, I do best when guided by a local expert. No one knows the way like they do. Likewise, when you get hurt on the job, you may need help to navigate state and federal laws that protect you and your family. If you find yourself in unfamiliar or troubled waters, hire an expert guide. Hire Smith, Fedler & Smith.
Hi, I'm Chad McLeod, and I'm running for Lakeland City Commissioner. I am a Polk County native. I'm a business owner here in town. I'm a graduate of the University of Florida, go Gators. And I'm a husband and father. My wife Erin and I have 3 young children, and when I think about their future, about what Lakeland looks like as they're growing up, I want our city to be one of the best places to live in the state of Florida. And that's a big reason why I'm running for City Commissioner. To learn more about me and my campaign, visit chadmcleod.com.
This is what you expect.
Well, don't worry. The whole family's gonna like this. It's not gonna be here tomorrow, I'll tell you that much. It's beautiful. Oh, don't worry about that. We'll fix it. We're gonna handle everything.
And this is a different experience.
Welcome to Regal. We want to thank Jeff Klein again and the Klein family. Hold on one second.
In the second quarter, Tampa Bay Tech 38, Sierra 13.
So,
At halftime, St. Thomas. Lake Wales 14.
let's see if that works better. I'm just getting really bad echo. I apologize. I can't really hear. That's better. There we go. All right, we got it. Sorry. I had my own voice like ringing loud in my ear, double echo, and I couldn't hear anything, so we got it back. So we're good. Back up in the press box. And as you would expect, we're getting some scores coming in, and many of the upper echelon teams that you would think playing in the first round. Armwood is leading 29-0 in the first half, and several teams that you would expect to be winning are winning, so no real surprises. I think Edgewater was the only one that was in a 17-14 halftime tussle. The rest of them, of course, St. Thomas, Niceville, those teams all doing very well. So no real surprises. And again, as I was trying to say, we thanks for Jeff Klein and the Klein family very much for their support. And you can hear, Jeff doesn't have to do it. He just does it because he likes Lakeland football and saw that we needed a sponsorship and just stepped up and filled the gap, right? And that's where true leadership comes in. When people just see a need, they're able to do it, and they just say yes. So we thank them very much. And we apologize in advance for the second half as we're going to have a running clock. It's just going to be me. Fred Lopez took off and is going to get some well-deserved rest. He wasn't feeling so good today, but sacked it up. He said, "You know what? I'm gonna come at least for the first half and make sure the Dreadnaughts have things in control. And if he needed to, he was going to stay. But I knew he was feeling kind of yucky, so you wouldn't know it. But thanks to Fred for showing up. And Jeff, we miss you as well as Jeff Goddard, who's the other part of our broadcast team. He's been just working hard, and he's lives quite a bit away, and that I-4 traffic on Fridays, especially if you have to work late, is sometimes very difficult. So that's kind of what he's been facing, and some other just things that have popped up that he's needed to address and attend to. So Jeff, we hope you're listening, and thank you for all that you do as well. And Michael Barrett getting a little time off as well, probably I believe doing a little hunting. It's that time of year, and Michael's an avid hunter and a very good one at that, and excellent, of course, at his job with Barrett Creative. So thanks to the whole team as we get set to go for the – you're in for just some kind of if you're here for the second half and you're staying with me, I can't apologize in advance for some jokes or some things that make – I'm trying to entertain myself up here in the press box, but it should be fun. If you were there with me, if you're a friend, you got my number, you want to text me, I'll do interviews with you over the phone. Just teasing, but it should be. Again, the Dreadnaughts had a fantastic first half. They came out just guns blazing. I mean, everything firing is as it should, and it led us up to this point. So we've had many turnovers. Many big plays by the players you would expect. Bowman, Martin, Garnett with some incredible pass plays. Haven't had any special team run backs or anything. That's something we may still see in this ball game, as you're going to see a lot of fresh jerseys. So not a big surprise if Wiregrass might put some points on the board in the second half, because we will be throwing in, as Coach Castle does, a bunch of fresh jerseys and probably keeping a lot of the starters out just to make sure that we preserve any injuries. Kick goes into the end zone and will be brought out to the 20-yard line.
Into the end zone for a touchback.
I know many of you heard me earlier, and some of you may have even gone to see the incredible presentation put on by Harrison Performing Arts. They do, I think, 2 a year, and this time they did Oklahoma. And my daughter Amanda had many of her friends in the performance, so we were able to go with our family. And Matthew was, in fact, the lead in that play, in that theater production, and he did tremendous. I mean, just incredible voice again, and the acting and the humor. And then here he comes out and puts another hat on, literally, helmet, and does a great job as the Lakeland High School kicker. So Brecht in there getting pressure off the left side and still running for his life, tries to turn back around and gets sacked. And there is a late flag. He might have been, his helmet or face mask may have been grabbed on the way down. And unfortunate, just not meaning to, but just wrapping him up and caught, I think they're saying horse collar. Personal foul. That is a 15-yarder in high school football when you kind of grab that area around the neck and just yank him down. That will result in a first down.
Results in a Bulls first down.
As you may be able to see up on, if you're watching us on the webcast, the clock is running. So this will be a pretty quick, except for a few mandatory water breaks and timeouts. We're going to speed through this second half, see if Wiregrass can put some points on the board. Pressure again from Brecht, and he gets tripped up, but there's a flag again way down here at the 50-yard line. I don't know what they're doing, throwing flags on a running clock up 48-0, way down. Now they're going to wave this one off. Thank you. Nothing like delaying the game even further. They're waving that one off officially, so Brecht under serious duress early here in the first part of the second half, third quarter. Second down, 15, 5-yard loss. Band's taking a break, as they did a nice job at halftime, as did the Anchorettes. They're in top form as well as the football team tonight. Direct snap. Kind of Brecht snaps his hands vigorously and calls for the ball, but he gets sidetracked to Nathan Miller, who is one of their runners that has
some pretty good stats on the season, but not tonight against the Dreadnaughts. 5-yard gain that time, 3rd down 10 now. After the sack and loss of yards, they will fight on this long 3rd down. It's funny again because Paul Hallier and I were talking about their incredible kicker who is launching 50, 55, and they even attempted a 60-yarder in warm-ups. And at the end of there's a pass intended for the tight end, number 82, just a little bit behind him. But their kicker is got one of the most impressive legs I've seen for a high school kicker in a long time. And so it just showed you they wanted to get that goose egg off at the end of the first half. And they were way out here at the 38 or 39-yard line, and they gave their kicker a try, but the kick was blocked by the Knots. You know, you have to kick a lower trajectory when you're that far out. And so the ball started, and Champ Johnson was able to get it and make an effort to return it, got way down here to the 30-yard line, and then kind of got tackled awkwardly as they're going to punt this one away. The punter's been drilling it. He's been spiraling it, and that one wasn't as attractive of a kick, but ended up a pretty good punt. So I have to keep an eye. Most of the starters, again, are out, but hopefully Champ's shoulder, he was kind of carrying it low like it was almost, hopefully not too damaged. Certainly not, hopefully not dislocated, but so here comes number 12 and number 21. Just reverse it. So the underclassmen come in. Mason Martin, the 10th grader, who started the regular season off. You'll recall Mason Martin before Garnett came back from the injury. Mason did a nice job at quarterback, and he's going to do so again. Reggie Kellum gets the call right side. Reggie had the great play in the first half. Reggie's got tons of room. This is an easy cakewalk touchdown for Reggie Kellum. Wow, was that a huge hole off the right side. Reggie looked like he was on a Sunday stroll. Looked like he literally was jogging like a 5K. Just, I think he was even questioning himself. He's like, wait a minute, this is are we playing? Is this real? Look too easy. So Reggie padding the stats tonight. He takes the helmet off. Look at that. There you go. Get treated to that dew. A couple nights. Look at those. Got the dreads and the nice looking coiffs, guys. I like it. Point after is good by Matthew Word, but I think the defender ran into Matthew Word, so that's going to be a penalty assessed on the kicker somewhere. It is roughing the kicker, as we thought. We started our own little Dreadnought reggae band there. One play, 60-yard touchdown run by Reggie Kellum, which brings the score to 55-0. And the Dreadnought route continues in this first FHSAA regional quarterfinal. And that is the timeout for the first quarter water break, which is mandatory. Third quarter water break, excuse me. And we'll take a brief timeout and be right back with you to end the third quarter.
Every customer that walks through our doors, they have hopes, dreams, plans that they want to execute in their lives, and we are a facilitator to help them accomplish those dreams. I think we should never lose sight of the fact that we are a trusted advisor to our clients, which allows us to really formulate a relationship with an entire family that spans generations, and it's frankly something that brings the most satisfaction to what we do every day.
Back here up in the press box,
To the banners surrounding Bryant Stadium.
Tim Conti.
Lakeland High School would like to say thank you to our community sponsors for supporting our Dreadnaught athletes.
Listening to the announcement, they're talking about the banners that are strewn around the Lakeland fence line. The bright orange sponsorship banners, and again, they're just great names around town, businesses that you'd recognize that have been in the community for a long time that like to support Dreadnought football and all that it is and does for the community as well. So a little shout out to all our sponsors. Just looking at some of the cheerleaders threw on a little parka there. I was going to look at the radar to see if we've been lucky the first half of this game, and that because of the penalty assessed on the kick, that ball goes through the end zone into the stands. Yeah, if you look at the radar, there is some light rain in just north of us. It's part of that first wave cold front that's going to be pushing through tonight, and you'll notice even cooler air tomorrow morning when you wake up. But you start to feel some of that filtering in here to Central Florida now. Friend, if you're listening or tuned in, you may already be getting to have the head to the pillow early tonight. But if not, thanks so much for joining me here in the first half. That was a lot of fun, and you always contribute so much and prepare, and it's greatly appreciated. As the Naughts go back to work on defense with 5:17 left in the third quarter. 55-0, big 55 points, but we do have a running clock. So Brecht still trying to at all costs, and he's going to get pressure late and dropped, and the football comes loose. I think they're going to call it down. Brecht got hammered. Youch, he's taking a beating tonight. It wasn't that aggressive or hard of a sack. It's just you had about a 150-pound difference from the defensive lineman in Brecht.
They lost 11 yards, brings up second down and 21.
And awfully lost 11 yards for the Bulls. Brecht is only 5'10", 155, and the defensive lineman that was pushing 300 pounds. So I was not joshing you. It's about double his body weight. Is now a second down and 21. Handoff right side. Nice job of the defense. The linebacker came up and smacked him. Miller on the carry again. Good job by the Dreadnought D. I think that was number 10 for the Naughts that came up. No, that wasn't 10. That was Smith would be 10. Let me see. 18, perhaps? Yeah, it was. That was Brett Nutting, number 18. Good job, Brett. Brett's actually the backup quarterback, third-string quarterback. Is Brett Nutting, the 10th grader, getting in there at linebacker. Pass over to number 5, Gonzalez.
Rocco Beck's pass is complete to Julian Gonzalez.
Julian just caught it and then spun around and kind of took a knee and didn't mean to down as the ball, was trying to turn around and get some yards after the catch, but unfortunately he went down to the turf and the ball was called dead, 4th and 12. I'm proud of both my kids. My daughter Olivia tonight has a performance for Florida Southern College. She's in the dance program at Florida Southern, and they had a performance tonight. I'm going to get a chance to see it tomorrow night, but some of the family went tonight, so I'm sure they enjoyed that. Whistles blow as there's a flag. Number 12,
Delay of game against the Bulls.
Grady Clower, their punter, was set to kick, and he's going to be pushed 5 yards back on a delay of game. Just nothing quite clicking at all, and it's doing most large part to the Dreadnaughts. That's a bad snap, and that'll be a safety through the back of the end zone. Random super loud cannon shot. The cannon's extraordinarily loud tonight. They added some gunpowder to the cannon.
Wiregrass Ranch Bulls 0.
So tack 2 on.
The winner of this game
57-0.
regional semifinal game.
That may have been a blessing for the Bulls because
that game is currently at halftime. The score
so Tampa Bay Tech, the Titans, are leading Vieira 45-13, and that's significant because we will be playing most likely Tampa Bay Tech, who's no joke. Different situation than we have here tonight. Tampa Bay Tech coming into Bryant Stadium next week, unless a miracle happens and Vieira pulls out 40-some-odd points unanswered. Some other scores, Bloomingdale 7, Winter Haven 7, so close game. Winter Haven matching with
Bloomingdale. They were trailing 7-0, but still there. Lake Gibson 31, Auburndale 21 in the third quarter. Another score in the third quarter, Sebring 24, Lake Wales 14. So some jeers going up with that score. We do have some light drizzle or rain falling here at Bryant Stadium. Central Catholic 14, Frostproof 2, an interesting score there. We just saw a 2-pointer on the board for the Knots. Their kicker's a Boomer, man. He's going to kick this. Well, I say that, and then look, it's a kind of a squib middle field kick. Someone's going to have to pick it up and just fall on it. Finally, someone picked it up for the Knots and gets to the outside, and that is number 17, who does step out at the 40.
On the kickoff return.
He's got some speed, man. I don't think we've seen Taylor Gant run much, but Taylor has a gear, extra gear. But he caught his heel on the white line, and the ref was right there and called him out of bounds.
First down and 10 from the Bulls.
First down and 10 from the Bulls 40-yard line. Tip of the ball is right at the 40. So after the safety, the bad snap for the punt, and the 2 points, the Dreadnaughts. You can feel that change in weather now coming. We do have some rain falling, beginning to fall here, and that is the end of the third quarter.
Wiregrass Ranch Bulls 0.
57-0 at the end of the third quarter. Let's go ahead and send it to our sponsors for a timeout and come back to wrap this one up with a quick fourth quarter, hopefully. See you in a suit.
High School Athletic Association recognized.
Good times, and all the flavor of New Orleans at Harry's Seafood Bar and Grill.
Back here at Bryant Stadium, and as the front begins to sink, most of the weather has been to our north. There's a lot of weather to our north, but it's mostly light rain. But that front is slowly starting to sink south as it will come through overnight, and you'll notice quite cooler temperatures tomorrow morning when you wake up. So I'm glad we got most of this underway without a drowning downpour like we had 2 weeks ago against Kathleen. That was horrendous, but different story. It's been a relatively dry game, except for, again, a few drizzles. Number 17, Taylor Gant, who just tried to return that kick, gets the handoff from Mason Martin and gets about 4 yards off the right side. So again, some fresh faces in. You know, Coach Castle is just, he just never has rubbed things in or tried to score an excessive amount of points. He's just not that kind of coach. And he's even taken Reggie Kellum out, who has easily scored a few times, and put in some other players, Taylor Gant, and now they got another running back in, sole running back, a new fresh jersey, who gets the handoff and gets tackled right there at the line of scrimmage.
Zaire Davis on the carry.
That's Tyler Davis for the Dreadnaughts.
Tackled by Abram Beer. Play lost a yard, brings up 3rd down and 8.
Tyler lost a yard on that carry, so 3rd down and 8 will be upcoming. It's number 60 for the Knots, Austin Collins, the 10th grader. Again, this is great to see. You love seeing the 10th and 11th graders get experience, because most of our rosters, as Fred's talked about, is moving on. They're seniors, and this will be their last playoff run. Mason Martin hands off the left side. Stumbling and rumbling around the corners, the big man.
Zaire Davis on the carry.
Zaire Davis runs right over the sideline, and a lot of the Dreadnaughts are like, oh boy, big man running, get out. A few yards to the left side, but not much. Yard gain. 4th down and 7. As they did it, they cranked up horse for me. Some of the football players down there dancing with the cheerleaders. They're following along pretty good there, guys. Quadir Hall. Wait a minute. They've been watching the cheerleaders a little too much. They know that cheer. They shouldn't know it that well. That's funny. Mason Martin rolls out, fumbles the ball, and recovered by big number 54. That was just a mess to begin with. It looks like it was almost going to be a throwback screen pass, but just no one in position to get the pass, and Mason Martin turned around and got the ball knocked out. And fourth down anyways.
Save time and avoid the hassle of waiting in line. No need for cash. Buy your tickets online at gofan.ca.
Everyone likes to dance the horse, as you can see a little bit light drizzle falling there with the lights. A little hard to pick up on camera.
Official online ticketing provider of the FHSAA.
Remind you, this is the FHSAA regional quarterfinal. And we cannot use this broadcast in any unauthorized way. I'll sum it up for you. We don't have any official notes, but I remember that announcement as they set up the screen. Number 24 has quite a bit of room off the left side. One of their biggest plays of the night, pass plays. Nathan Miller. Everyone dancing the horse down there.
Play gain 16 yards and results in a Bulls first down.
Garnett, the quarterback, leading the way for the dancing Dreadnought squad. Action back on the field. Running clock, 8:15 in the ball game remaining. Miller gets the call, left side. Still scrambling for some yards, fighting. Picks up another 3 or 4 after the second effort. Nice job of Miller. This is their chance to score. I'm telling you, this might be their only shot right here. Put some points on the board, at least to get close enough for their fantastic kicker. Will they or won't they get that goose egg off the Jumbotron? Beck calls for it, throws it over to number 7, who's got a lane. Nice tackle, though. That was away. Good job. Number 18 for the Dreadnaughts came along the end. That's Brett Nutting again. Nice job, Brett.
Play results in a Bulls first down.
That's a first down, but that could have been definitely a touchdown. Jamil Best also in on the tackle. Gain of 11 yards for the Bulls. Moving the chains here now, late in the ball game. 7 minutes. Shotgun formation. Fake handoff, rolls out left side, men covered. Throws it over the middle to the big tight end, number 82. We've called his name a few times tonight, and he's going to be near the first down marker once again. That's Thompson on the reception.
Play gained 11 yards and results in a Bulls first down.
Look at the Bulls picking up 11-yard chunks. Another first down. And the chains move. And that is the last official timeout of this ball game for the fourth quarter water break. Dreadnaughts leading 57-0 here, but the Bulls are threatening late in this ball game. Let's go ahead and take our last probably commercial sponsor break, and we'll be right back to finish this one off. Stay with us. That's a great commercial. I love that one with the accessories and springers, two leading businesses here in Lakeland that are both fantastic Dreadnought supporters. As the Bulls trying desperately to get that 0 off the board. Handoff. Number 24, and that's not going to do it that time. So Miller tried to get to the outside, and Dreadnought D stuffed it. As you can see, players running in and out for the Dreadnaughts on almost every play. Everyone getting in tonight. Austin Taylor, who just checked out.
Michael Haskell with the tackle.
Becht is going to be sore tomorrow, I can tell you that. He is taking some shots tonight, getting pressure again, rolling out, has some room, and caught for a touchdown. There you go. Nice pass, Mr. Becht. On the run, getting some pressure, found an open receiver, and made a nice throw. Number 19, who normally is in on special teams blocking, is scrambling to find his helmet. Couldn't find his helmet. He didn't think he was going to have to go. He didn't think the Bulls were going to score, so he wasn't prepared to grab a helmet. As I look down, and there's still a few faithful fans here, but because of the score and a little bit of drizzle, rain, a lot of people have packed it in for tonight. They missed the fine scoring effort by the Bulls here late in this one with 4:58 remaining. Oh, that one should have been blocked, but somehow snuck through too. Yeah. Even the Lakeland defenders are like, how did that get through two of our players? So 6 plays, 49 yards. Not bad for the Bulls by far. A nice little drive capping off the 11-yard touchdown pass. 57-7 now. So the Bulls did in fact erase the 0. And that will be something for them to talk about. That's about it. It has been quite the performance by the Knots. And again, a great to be in the playoffs and have your whole team get in the ball game is pretty cool. Yes, you're going to give up a couple late touchdowns and a few points here and there, but you know that really doesn't mean anything. It's much better to get some player experience, some real-time experience, helmet-to-helmet action for these 10th and 11th graders, and some seniors even that maybe aren't starters that are able to get in the ball game that normally wouldn't. We don't know what's going to be up for the next 2 or 3 games. If we're closer in scores, we may not get to play a lot of second and third teamers as number 45 checks in late. And booming kick, high, deep, and into the end zone. This should do it, though. This should be the last offensive possession. The Dreadnaughts don't have to do much but hand it off 2 or 3 times to run off the rest of the clock.
First down and 10 from their own 20-yard line.
So again, a quick second half as we like it. So the highlight report on the LHS campus, Coach Castle will review the highlights of this game, and he'll break down the opponent for the next game. But because of the holiday on Monday, it's going to be Tuesday night. So if you do come out and you like to hear Coach Castle talk and like to hear that coach's report, and if you're really wanting to hear kind of what we're facing on the next playoff team, come Tuesday night to the Lakeland High School campus at 7 o'clock. 1-yard carry on first down, second down and 9. Approaching the 2-minute mark here in the ball game with the running clock. Things starting to wrap up. And we're going to wrap up quick after this one. There's not going to be any interviews or anything after the game, but you saw what happened on the field. The Dreadnaughts with a complete game and just came out just on fire completely, more than we've seen in a long time. They had 14 points up, or 21 points within like 3 minutes. Yes, a couple turnovers. We had some interceptions. Some long plays from the skilled positions you'd expect.
Tackled by Mark Kuiper. Play gain 5 yards, brings up 3rd down and 4.
3rd down and 4. Again, not needing to do much on this drive other than just run it out. Mason Martin comes in on a 3rd down and 4. Both bands cranked up at the same time. They're just jamming. Got all kinds of interesting sounds coming out in there from the north end zone. Handoff, stiff arm. Look at that running back. My goodness. The big man. Zaire Davis with a very nifty little run. You don't often get to see 2 or 3 stiff arms on the same run, but he just kind of like a little gnat, just like, get away from me, get away from me. He's a big boy running around.
The stadium lights will begin to be shut off shortly after the game is over, and this will be your cue to clear the field.
With all probability, this will be the last play of the regional quarterfinal here at Bryant Stadium. And it's going to be a loss of a few yards by Davis. But with under 10 seconds, that, in fact, will be the end of the ball game. And this one is in the books. And another playoff win for Coach Bill Castle here at home in the first round of the FHSAA road to the state championships. The Dreadnaughts 57-7, advancing to the regional semifinal game, which will be, in fact, here next week. Tampa Bay Tech will, in all likelihood, be our. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. Tampa Bay Tech just got the score 52-13. So the next week, we'll say with all confidence, 7:30 p.m. start date. The Dreadnaughts against Tampa Tech should be a much different kind of contest than tonight. Both teams routing their opponents, and so that's going to do it. We're going to wrap this one up quick as you see Coach Castle and the team just congratulating each other. The Dreadnaughts, we hope, keep the same intensity and high level of play up as we go to this next second, third, and fourth games, hopefully, of this playoffs, leading to that state championship game in Daytona. You never know what could happen, but we like our chances, and we thank you again from the whole team. Michael, Mary, Tim, Fred, and the rest of the group, we thank you so much for joining us here on the live Lakeland webcast. Final score again, the Lakeland Dreadnaughts 57, the Wiregrass Bulls 7. We're going to sign off and say God bless and good night, everybody, and we'll see you here next week for the regional semifinal. Take care. God bless.